Okay, it says I'm live. I have never done a Facebook or excuse me, a live before. So this is totally new territory for me, but I wanted to try it out and see if anybody was around on a Tuesday morning, um, wanting to talk a little bit about homeschool planning. So hopefully you guys are here and ready to have a little bit of a homeschool planning chat. So, my name is Pam Barnhill while we're waiting for some other people to come on. And I am at pambarnhill.com. And we talk all about homeschool planning over there. We have a great course called Put Your Homeschool Year on Autopilot. And it is bonus time right now for that course. So, if you get the course before Friday, the 21st, or by Friday the 21st, like you can still buy it on Friday the 21st, then you get our loop scheduling bonus. So do go and check that out. It's a little bonus mini course, all with all kinds of loop scheduling options for you in there. And that's at pambarnhill.com/autopilot. So I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids. And let me tell you, I am constantly battling decision fatigue all the time. Um, so I have some handy little ways that I do that, that I kind of um, combat this decision fatigue thing that comes up in our day. Because quite frankly, when you are a mom or a dad in a homeschool and you're homeschooling your kid, what ends up happening is you are the brain for all the people in the house. Because especially when they're little, it's like, what do I wear? What do I eat? What do we do next? And instead of just making all of those decisions for yourself, you're actually making all of those decisions for everybody else too, all day long. And honestly, it's hard enough for me to make a lot of those decisions just for me. So, we're going to talk about 3 ways today, 3 things that you can do to help eliminate some of the decision fatigue that you might be feeling in your homeschool. So, very practical things for you. The first thing is a procedure list. So, this is a technique that we teach in the autopilot course. You make a procedure list for all of the subjects that you're studying in your homeschool. Now, I know you guys know that there are some things that we get for our homeschool that are open and go, that we don't even have to think about. It just tells us exactly what to do every time we open the curriculum and sit down to work. But other times there are things that we want to use that are really fabulous, wonderful things. Maybe it's something we're excited about or interested in. We love the way the curriculum looks, but it's not so open and go. It doesn't tell us exactly what to do every time we open the curriculum. So by creating a procedure list, what you're doing is you are distilling this non-open and go curriculum down to its basic parts so that every time you sit down to do it, you just follow the list. And you've totally eliminated kind of all the extra thought processes that have to go into doing this. And one of the examples I love to use for this is Story of the World. So Story of the World is a great close. And so what I tell people to do is, if you're faced with something like that, in order to eliminate the problem of getting up on a school day and saying, we're going to study history today, we're going to do the chapter on, Henry VIII and all of his wives. What are we going to do? And you open that chapter and you're faced with like this long list of options. Ahead of time, go ahead and distill that list and make just a procedure list for what you're going to do for every time you open a chapter of that book and work on the story of the world. And then when it comes time to do it, if you have time to pull an extra cool, fun, wonderful activity out and do it, great. But if you don't, if you're just time because maybe been sick, or you've had to take the dog to the vet, or the washing machine broke, or just life, then you know exactly what it is you're going to do. And so in the autopilot course, we walk you through how to make procedure lists for every single curriculum that you use that is not open and go. It seems like a little extra work on the front end, but so many moms have told me this absolutely saves their bacon during their school year. And they have their best school year ever because they've made these procedure lists that they can default to whenever they need to. So that's the first way to eliminate decision fatigue in your homeschool. The second way to eliminate decision fatigue in your homeschool is through organization. But I don't want you to think about organization as being something that happens after a visit to Pinterest, because that's not the kind of organization that I'm talking about. The kind of organization I'm talking about in Autopilot, we teach you 3 questions to ask to get your homeschool organized. One is, uh, where do we put all the stuff and how do we keep it close by? That's the first thing you need to do. Because let me tell you, if you sit down to do homeschooling with your kids and you are missing something and have to go looking for it, you have lost them. And it is so hard to get them back. So that's thing number one. Thing number two is, where do I put all of the things that we need to work with that are my teacher materials? Where do I put them? And how do I get them to my kids? So if you've made copies of a bunch of different coloring pages or map work or student notebook pages or whatever it is, where are you going to put those things so that they're close by and handy? And then how are you going to distribute them to the kids? And we have a number of different ways that we teach you to do that. And then the final thing is, how do I tell the kids what they need to do? And preferably, how do I tell them in a way that it fosters independence? Because you don't want to have to be sitting there constantly giving the kids assignments. You want them to be able to independently look at the assignments and see what the assignments are. Some moms just put a stack on the homeschool room table so that they're able to work somewhat independently depending on their age. Some moms use a weekly list, and all of these different options in our autopilot course, because this is the thing that eliminates a lot of the decision fatigue for you when you make these lists and how you get them to the kids. So organization is the second thing. So procedure list is the first way to eliminate decision fatigue. Organization is the second thing. We teach you some very hands-on, very effective strategies for those in autopilot. The third thing is a little more encouraging as opposed to practical, though it has some practical applications. The third way to eliminate decision fatigue in your homeschool is wholeheartedness. Really, really stop trying to multitask. Stop trying to do other things while you're homeschooling your kids. And this is something we don't necessarily teach in autopilot. Maybe we should. That gives me an idea for a module that we can add for maybe for next year's bonus. But wholeheartedness is so huge in your ability to homeschool and not get tired. Because as we are trying to do lots of different things, as we're being pulled in a lot of different directions, we don't realize the amount of stress that this puts on our psyche, and also our inability to work well. So we think, I've got the kids started with math. I'm going to run over here and put some dinner in the crock pot. Or I've got the kids working on some science. So I'm going to go over here and fold a load of laundry. But every time you move in and out of that space and do that task switching, it is draining on your ability to make decisions and your ability to work well at either task. It takes you twice as long to do the laundry. Whereas if you had worked on the laundry before you started school that morning, or got the dinner in the crock pot before you started school that morning, or simply waited until after school was done and you were no longer working with those kids, it's going to move so much faster and it's going to be less tiring for you. I talk a lot about task switching and multitasking in some of my talks I give. And I was recently doing a little bit of research and discovered that there was actually that did some research on multitasking. And so they had 2 groups of people in this study. And one group of people, they were both given the same tasks to do. One group of people was told that they had to multitask while they were doing these tasks. They had to work on more than one task at a time. The other group of people were told that they were only allowed to work on one task at a time, but they were allowed to smoke pot. So guess which group actually performed better on the set of tasks and got them done faster? It was not the group that was told to multitask. So there's just a very good indicator right there of what the multitasking does to your brain, what the lack of wholeheartedness does to your brain. So as you sit down, and I mean, this is not even necessarily something you can plan. There are 2 tips I gave are something I totally encourage you to plan ahead in the summertime for an entire term. If you don't want to plan it for an entire school year, do it for a term. I like to do it for the school year so I don't have to do it during the school year. But every day when you wake up, make a commitment. I am going to be wholehearted to my school time during my school time. When it's time to do school, I am going to focus on doing school with these kids, being available to them, helping move them through the subjects that they need. And it doesn't matter if you're just a really relaxed, fun loving, everything's great homeschool mom. We're, learning something new all the time. We're not sitting down at a table, whatever the case may be. Or if you're the kind of homeschooler that likes to move through a checklist, you like to work at a table, you like to get things done and send the kids off to follow their own interests, it really doesn't matter. Be wholehearted to it. During that time, give it your full attention. And I think you're going to find, I'm sure you're going to find that you still have just as much time to get things done because it's taking you so much less time to do that. So there you have it. Those are my 3 ways that you can eliminate decision fatigue in the midst of your homeschool day. Set up those procedure lists, get yourself organized, know how you're going to answer those 3 questions that I talked about, and finally, be wholehearted in your tasks. And I really encourage you to do that. Remember, it is autopilot bonus time. If you put your homeschool year on autopilot, which is definitely your super focused, hyper focused, streamlined way to create a homeschool plan that will work for your family because you have created it. And it is exceedingly flexible. If you get that by Friday, you will also get the special mini course on loop scheduling as well. And we dropped the link to that in the comments for you. So you guys have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you soon. Let me know if you have any other questions, and I'll be happy to answer them for you after the live stream is over. Thanks so much.